To our first game here in 2015. Kids are ready to play, anxious to get back on the field. Friday night kickoff will be great, and we'll have a feisty Rhode Island team coming in here ready to play, I'm sure, and just looking forward to the kickoff. So with that, any questions, Stephen?
Didn't we just say we weren't going to talk about this?
About what? Anyone have a question?
Go ahead,
Mark.
Just especially after the way last season went, how eager are you?
Last season, I have no comments on last season. We are focused on kicking some ass Friday night against Rhode Island.
Can you talk about the importance of getting off to a good start and getting the fans involved?
You always want to win number one for the fans. Our fans are ready for a big victory. We're ready to go out there and have a great win.
Paris Bennett throughout training camp, and now
Sure.
he seemed to have won that spot.
Yeah.
I guess what was it ultimately that got him there?
Just, I think he did a nice job going to work. He got his body weight back to where it needed to be. He's done a nice job with learning the system. Paris is a very good athlete. He's got long limbs. He's only about 6 foot, 6'1" maybe, but his arms belong on a 6'4" body, if you will. And those long levers and those loose hips the good Lord gave him have given him an opportunity to really be productive. He's done a nice job. Coach Lee's done a nice job bringing really all three guys along at that position. So you have Paris, and then you have Ted Taylor, who's really had a good camp, especially when you consider he's only been here for such a short time. I think he's done a very good job in learning the system and not making the same mistake twice. That's Ted Taylor. And then J.T. Thomas has played better really the last week and a half, 10 days. So I think we have three guys, albeit young guys with not a lot of experience, that are ready to go out on the field Friday night and play some outside linebacker the way we expect them to.
Julian was talking about Rodney's kind of been a vocal leader. Have you kind of seen him step up with that youth in the secondary for you guys?
He has. Really, the focus has been less on him being a leader and more on him continuing to be a consistent technician at the corner position. I think the corner position, especially in our defense, is one position that really relies on great technique and consistent mindset. So that's been my approach with the corners. I've had a chance to coach them a little bit more this summer than I did the year before, and for me it's been fun getting back to the basics and the simplicity of fundamental football with technique. Julian's improved a bunch in that area. He's learned how to use his toolbox with the different techniques that you play, especially in bump and run, and I've been pleased with his development.
What's Rodney showing you kind of during that starting spot?
Well, he's always around the ball. Rodney Williams will be playing safety for us. He can play either side. He's just always around the football, and I always felt like good safeties find their way to that ball at the end of the play, and sometimes they're where they're not supposed to be when the ball arrives, and that's a good thing, because they're anticipation. And I know Steve Gregory was the same way, and hopefully Rodney could be half of what Steve Gregory was here by the time he finishes the next 4 years. But been pleased with the secondary's development and their confidence, and it'll be interesting to see them, under the big lights for a lot of them for the first time. Jawan Dowles, Cordell Hudson are two guys that are ready to play some football, both on the special teams and on defense. And this will be their first kickoff in college football for those two, and it'll be interesting to see how they react.
Coach, do you have any sentimental feelings about Rhode Island having kind of started out there?
Sentimental? Yeah, that's where I started. My son Wolfgang was born in Rhode Island. It was my first full-time job working for Floyd Keith. We took over a program that was pretty much dead last in, at the time, 1AA football. And then we won a division championship. We beat UConn to win our division of the old Yankee Conference. For some of you guys with gray hair or no hair, you guys remember when that was the name of the conference, and it was a neat Northeastern Conference. For me, growing up Ohio in the Midwest and didn't get out a whole lot, it was pretty cool to live in Narragansett, Rhode Island, and be able to get up in the morning and go see what the ocean looked like, as opposed to Lake Erie. And yeah, there's a lot of sentimental value there, but right now it's just time to go play some football, so we'll block those things out and go try to get number one.
It's going to be kind of a loaded question, but you mentioned Steve Gregory. What is he, I guess, allowed to do within the rules as a quality control coach? And can you
can you recount how he kind of joined the staff and what maybe his...
Well, when I met Steve, yeah, Steve actually spoke at a banquet for us. Might have been my first year here as a defensive coach here, and I was impressed with him then. Met him along the way a couple more times. Was impressed with just his football knowledge and his love for Syracuse. You know, he and Rosie moved back here. They have Aviana, you know, and they chose to come back here, not knowing what the future would hold with jobs and that sort of thing. So I thought if we ever had the opportunity to get a true warrior that wore the orange back in-house, it'd be pretty cool because he's an extremely bright football player. So in-house, what he does is he does a lot of film breakdown, to be honest with you. He does a lot of organization of, the special teams, the units, the charting. So it's not the most glamorous job. He doesn't get to do a whole lot of coaching on the field, you know, with the rules, the way a quality control coach can be involved. But he's got a good influence in the program, and it's good to bounce ideas off of him. And I think we got a guy that'll be a very good coach as he moves forward in his career. I know eventually he'd like to get out of that role and move up and find some more coaching opportunities, you know, where they get to go on the field and truly coach. Graduate assistant can coach on the field and teach and meet and that sort of thing, whereas our quality control coaches are really limited to really a lot of breakdown, a lot of analysis type things.
Hi, Mark. Coach, you also mentioned Wolfgang. Can I assume you're going to be at his game Saturday? How proud are you?
Yeah, for me, let's get a victory. Let's go get number one, and then I would love to be able to get up in the morning and drive out to Union and see my son play. Didn't get an opportunity to see him play a bunch, you know, because we're both doing the same thing at the same time. But happy for him, proud of him. You know, there was a point when he had a broken back there coming out of his junior year that we didn't know if he's going to be able to play anymore. And to see his growth and maturity and the opportunity to play for Coach Welsh and such a great program at Ithaca, you know, I'm excited for him. But I want him to just go out there and play the game for the love of the game and not worry about the outside things and just have fun. Same message I would preach to our players, to my son. I'll be honest with you, I'll probably be more nervous for his game than my game. I can remember going to a Little League championship game where he was pitching, and I don't ever remember being that nervous for a game in my life. So it'll be interesting. So first things first, let's go get a good victory here against Rhode Island and get after them Good Friday night and then wake up and be a dad all day. I'm looking forward to that.
Time for 2 more questions. Mark and Steve.
You kind of came out here with game face. Was that to set the tone for Saturday, or?
Me and Steven were fired up. We were ready to go outside, and he got me fired. I appreciate that, Steven. We got excited together out there in the hallway, and I think we're both ready just to go play some football again. Yeah, I am. It's been a long wait, you know. Repression's a beautiful thing. I can't remember what happened last season. I can't wait to start the next chapter in Syracuse football, 2015 campaign. A lot of new faces across the way, you know, with Mark and his staff. There's a lot of exciting things going on around here, and happy to have our quarterback back, and happy to see the team progressing well, and just can't wait to get back on the field. So I don't know about the game face thing. As soon as I hear game face, I think about Bobby Knight talking about what is a game face. So that's an interesting question, but we'll be ready to go. Steven.
What has Jordan Frederick shown you in the last week or so? Maybe when you did situational stuff, third downs that kind of encompass the checks and the reads that might be a little tougher for a freshman and even the game week preparation.
Yeah, Jordan Fredericks, I think he's ready to play. He's ready. He knows the offense inside out. He's got good football IQ, like a lot of our freshmen. We have a lot of smart kids on this team that pick things up quicker than a lot of freshmen do. Jordan's one of those guys. My biggest concern has always been protection, with the running back. There's always a lot of good young kids that could run the football, especially when the offensive line is moving people out, But can they pick up the protections? Can they see the blitzes coming? Can they make the change in how they step with their footwork when they do see it? A lot goes into that. Jordan's done a nice job with that. And, really between him and Dungy and Strickland, those three, as far as skill guys that are back in that triangle in the backfield, pretty good group of kids. So I'm looking forward to seeing how those guys play here, Friday night. Maybe not all of them will play Friday night, but throughout the course of the season, because they're all ready to. Now they're going to be nervous. As a freshman, you know, you're going to be nervous, but those kids have a little bit of confidence and a little bit of swag to them. So I'm interested to see how that goes down under the lights Friday night, just like you guys are.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.